Welcome back to Let's Play Higurashi, Onikakushi. I feel like shit. Just like, what a way to start the recording. I do, I generally feel like shit. Like, literally, as I was like trying to sleep last night, this morning, technically, just suddenly just felt like shit. Combined with, like, suddenly feeling all just gloomy and all like, you know, headaches. Just feel like shit essentially, while also feeling depressed at the same time. It's horrible. Just like, motivation just like, gone, and just like, But you know, whatever. I uploaded the previous part yesterday. I actually woke up late yesterday when I uploaded, because my sleeping pattern has been shit lately. It's like I woke up at 11, so I ended up uploading at, 11, didn't I? Yes. While I usually upload at 10. Well, let's first get this out of the way. Actually, there was one I was gonna go with. Let's actually have two words of the day. Shiteken. Reservation tickets. There's our random word for the day, but there's one other one I wanna go over, because I just like randomly noticed. Like, I've seen this word appear in my course. I haven't been to the college in a while because, you know, holidays and all that. But anzen. It's a noun meaning safety. And I've seen it in some of the phrases, and I think I can see why. It means safety. But any phrase I hear where it's like saying something like, is it safe? It'll be like, anzen desu ka? It's like des can be translating that to be is, and adding ka at the end turns into a question, so it would become is it as a result. So it'd be like, is it safe? Because anzen means safety here, but it could also just be translated as safe depending on the context, really, isn't it? It's kind of weird. I've been like looking through my dictionary a lot for stuff like that, trying to understand things, and it confuses me. Anything else to say? Well, it's been 10 days since the previous recording, surprisingly. Just like 10 days? I thought I'd didn't record that much, but I guess it adds up with a 2-day kind of upload schedule anyway. Let's get to the plot. Every recording session has a few minutes of rambling at a time. Ah, my ears! God, I've got a headache, you damn bloody Higurashi. Split personality. I'm also sat at my desk again. Wait. Who's speaking? I see it in movies quite often, but what is it exactly? Multiple personalities are thought to be escapism. Multiple personality disorder is a form of escape. Correct. The exact mechanism is not fully understood, but it's believed to be a type of event for the brain to retain mental stability. Hypothetically, poor people imagining themselves as wealthy is a form of escapism, is it not? Is this also a form of multiple personality disorder? I wouldn't go that far, but broadly speaking, one could infer that it's something that occurs in us all. Does a split personality occur when one cannot tell which is reality and which is the escape? That's difficult to say. There are some who agree with that and some who disagree. There's no consensus. Then there's the occurrence of multiple personalities, still an unknown phenomenon, something not fully comprehended in the psychiatric field. Unfortunately, that is the current state of things. We can only put our hope in future research. You know, that's the case with a lot of things, really, isn't it? It's like, well, we've been studying this for quite some time, and we're not fully sure we fully understand it yet. It's like, for example, it's kind of different, but dreams, or just simply thinking. You got stuff like that. I mean, psychiatry is study the mind, right? But it's just such a kind of it's just something that's like, seems like it should be simple, but it isn't, is it? It's like, why do we think? What? Like, it's just like, there's no real easy answer to that. It's just like, it's really complicated when you really think about it. It's like the mind is like, well, complex, isn't it? And it's like so complex that even our mind itself cannot understand the mind. It's just so weird. But it's sort of cool having a split personality. Oh wait, I think I get it now. This must be Rena and her therapist, maybe. I don't know. I'm just assuming this because of like that right there. Sounds like, I don't know, it reminds me of Rena. But it's sort of cool having a split personality. What kind of people get split personalities? Recent studies find that those who develop it, or rather those who are more susceptible to developing it, may be genetically predisposed or may have had abnormal mental development. Some say that childhood abuse increases the chances. Yeah, it does seem like it must be her. Speaking of which, Person A here experienced abuse as a child, didn't he? How sad. But I'm not entirely sure if it is Rena or not. I freaking hate these type of scenes. Context, man. Person A has 7 different personalities. Let's watch a video of him. Right after these commercials. What? Or is it a freaking commercial the whole time? It shows a TV, so maybe it's like some freaking, I don't know. That confused me. It's like that freaking one with the tabloid. You remember that where it's like, oh man, this is really tense. And then suddenly it's like, bing bong bong bong, bing bong bong bong. Here are some advertisements. At the 7th Mart. I guess this might explain how Rena was there, maybe. The 7th Mart was a bargain supermarket with food and alcohol. Who's speaking? Let me just, like, before I start reading it, let me see. He doesn't even tell me who's saying it. It must be his mother, actually. What's this, Keiichi? So many, there's no reason to get all the different kinds, is there? I popped all the different colored cup noodle barrels into the cart. Cup noodles have gotten so elaborate recently, and there are a bunch of different types. I want to try each of them at least once. I knew it was pretty selfish of me, but I thought I'd at least give it a try. It seems to be from Keiichi's perspective. Keiichi, buy them in a big case. It's cheaper. Keiichi, buy them in a big case. It's cheaper. God damn it. Can I tell which one's speaking? Dad faltered. You know, it's true. Have you noticed? It's not just like with stuff like noodles and shit like that. Cans, for example, it's cheaper to buy them in a pack than it is individually. I mean, like, you could buy like one can and be like, you could like look at a 6-pack of cans. It would cost more to buy 6 cans individually than just buy like that. But if you just buy one can, it doesn't really matter. You just buy one can. But if you want to, like, you know, get more, it's better just buy like a pack. Well, I had a feeling it'd end up like this. Dad knew there was no point in him butting in. Then I'd only get to eat one kind. I get bored of it. I was resisting the formality. I'd already given up inside and wasn't sure which case of noodles to get. If you can't pick then, what will pick for you? You don't have to rush me. I quickly searched the cases of noodles for what I want. Pork bone and ginger, large cup. Hey, Keiichi, can't you get a more normal one? Oh, pork bone and ginger, large cup. Hey, Keiichi, can't you get a more normal one? Can't you, like, freaking I have to it annoys me. Let Mum pick she'd err on the side of safety and get soy sauce or salt flavored. Pork bone is good. I don't want a big bowl of tasteless stuff. I remembered insisting that the noodles I picked were the right kind. In this frozen memory in time, the encapsulated world, I didn't have the power to look around my surroundings. So I did what I could and reached out with my hearing and vision, sharpening my senses to find the presence I overlooked. No matter how much I searched through my field of vision, I couldn't see Rena. I rewound the situation, searching, but of course I couldn't find her. Then, was she spying at me from my blind spot? I go through the sound and presence again, looking. I could sense the other customers. They were all mixed about, moving as they pleased. There was nobody looking over this way and no one trying to get behind me. Not here. Couldn't be here. Probably wasn't here. I would definitely notice if someone was right behind me, even when I wasn't on my guard. I smiled wryly at the thought of using a vague word like probably right before contradicting it with definitely. Then I paused my mental replay as a chill ran down my spine. There was definitely a presence like a shadow behind me. That was a terror unlike any other. Well, everyone casts a shadow. Well, it depends really on the light, really, doesn't it? But it's not been in that way. If a presence really had manifested behind me, I would definitely have turned around to check for it. But the world had moved on, and there was no way for me to turn around. While carrying that frightening shadow on my back, I was gleefully running around the store searching for a case of noodles. Running through the instant noodle section, getting a headache, bad-mouthing my mom. But there was that presence constantly at my back, sticking to me like a shadow. No way to see what it was, realizing it now after the fact was horrifying and repulsive. And at a moment of time I was running around briefly, carrying that cardboard box, tip-tap. But listening to that moment again, I could hear footsteps other than mine going pit-pat with every step. Tip-tap, tip-tap, tip-tap. Well, Keiichi, there is a flaw in this logic, right? If she really is behind him there, then how come his parents didn't say anything? Pit-pat, 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 tip-tap, tip-tap, tally-ho, pit-pat, pit-pat, tip-tap, tip-a-tap, pit-pat, pit-a-pat-pat. While I was running, the sound of those barefoot footsteps going pit-pat were right behind mine. That just sounded even odder. Why would she be barefoot? Or is it just the way he's describing it? Me running around gleefully in that close-up limited time. But I didn't hear it. No, I heard it. That's why I remembered it. I didn't think I'd heard anything. That's why I didn't turn around. That is why I didn't turn around. In that moment, the pit-pat of those footsteps were following me the entire time. I couldn't run faster and escape. I couldn't run any faster than I had run at that time. I couldn't turn around. I hadn't turned around before, not once. Then I returned to my parents and started talking. The shadow-like presence was right at my back. Since I didn't move, the shadow didn't move. That is why it made no sound. That was all. At that time, I hadn't taken a single step while I was talking with my parents. I was just standing there. This was undeniable. And yet, I heard it. A pit-pat. It's like the previous recording where he had that eerie presence in the doorway bit, where he's like, I heard it. That shouldn't be. If I took 3 steps, it followed 3 steps. Wasn't that the rule? There was no sound other than that. At that time, the entire world had gone dark. A sudden darkness. It was the end of my reflective journey. I was tired. I wanted to end it. Someone turn on the lights. Except my body couldn't move, as if I was sewn into that moment in time. Pit-pat. My past self's hair stood on end. That's impossible. Now that's just breaking the rules. I haven't moved, so you shouldn't be moving either. I couldn't move, so you shouldn't be able to move either. Follow the damn rules. Screw the rules. I have this. Pit-pat. Get that sound. Yeah, he's got pit-pat. That's what he's got. No, that's just a sound effect. Yet that sound echoed in the darkness once again. The hair on the back of my neck prickled up on end. It was so close that it was hard to tell whether it was touching the hair or not. Why couldn't I move? Like how the presence was moving behind me. I quickly realized I could move. It's just that I was scared and didn't want to. But now was the only time I could turn around. It was something unforgivable in this moment in time. But I needed to turn around immediately. As if my entire being was trying to force me to stop. It began to administer a pain like a needle being stuck into my every pore. I don't know why I'm speaking this way, but it has more of a kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. Professional? I don't know. It just feels like it's like more fitting for it. It's just like, yes, it's like, you know, I don't know. I'll turn around. I'll turn around. I'm not scared at all. I'll turn around. I'll turn around. I'm not scared at all. The way it's written out there makes it look like some freaking song lyrics or something. It's like, I don't know. Just, you know, like that repetitive kind of chorus stuff. Like where it just like repeats the same two phrases in a chorus. Not all choruses like that, but, you know, like the basic ones like that. A scream I was unable to vocalize. Roared! I turned around. At first I couldn't understand the meaning of it. What? What is this? The situation in front of my eyes. It was like a mouth biting an apple and slurping the juice, the way you would do with an apple. My mind was being eaten. It began to munch down, slurping the juices because it was like an apple. Yes, it sounded bizarre. Meaning, what was in front of me was... Yeah, professional my ass, right? Achievement unlocked! Detective Onikakushi. I think that's the achievement for all the tips. So we've seen all the tips now. Meaning there shouldn't be much plot left. I guess I'd be lying if I said I didn't get any sleep. I tried to stay awake all night, but there were definitely gaps in my memory. I guess I kept nodding off and jerking awake in a panic all night. The previous scene, you know, in the main plot, not in tips, kind of like trailed off a bit, didn't it? He saw Rena, and then he was like kind of ignoring Oishi on the phone, so what happened there? Gonna explain? I spent all night hugging the metal bat and sat on top of the futon. I used the barricade and I awaiting, watching just in case someone tried to break in through my window. Is his room on the second floor or the first floor? Well, it doesn't really matter, really, in this kind of scenario, probably. If I left this spot, someone would break through the door, sending the futon flying and attack me. First you go about the window, now the door. But if I start watching the window, someone would break through the glass and attack me. I tried to tell myself I was just being paranoid. I couldn't sleep. Oh yeah, that's a thought. Just like with all this, I just think of that one Green Day song. I forget the name of it, but that with that bizarre lyric where it's like, "Am I just paranoid or am I stoned?" or something like that. It's just like, what the hell is up with that? It's just like, I don't know, I forget what song it is. The thought of being so vulnerable scared the living daylights out of me. Sleep meant taking that risk. I didn't need it. Wow. Yep. Oh, that's another thing you could see, isn't it? It's like, sleep, something everyone pretty much does. You know? And, like, we don't understand fully why we sleep in the first place, really, do we? It's like, oh, you could be like, it gives you, like, mind rest, some time to rest, kind of like, and it's just hard to describe, and even then, we don't fully understand it, really, do we? It's weird how many things seem so simple, yet we don't fully understand. In the wild, it was so much better to just stay awake. At some point during that endless cycle of nodding off and jolting awake, light began to shine outside, but that was it. It wasn't so much the morning as it was just the sun simply having risen. I snuck a peek out through the curtains. Rena was gone. I couldn't see her anywhere, no matter how hard I looked. Finally, I could breathe a deep sigh of relief. The night was finally over. That's a thought I had as well. It's like it'd be kind of like weird, but imagine if Keiichi, like, instead of just being all like, you know, paranoid of Mion and Rena, just asked them outright, just like, hey, Rena, Mion, are you trying to kill me or anything like that? Just like, be upfront about it. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tired, but I didn't feel like sleeping at the moment. I still had time, and I needed to make my own breakfast, so I'd better get started soon. Skipping school was also an option. With my mum gone, it'd be easy to play hooky. Didn't they say they'd be back the next morning, or was it later in the day or something? Honestly, I debated it. The risk involved in leaving my house was incalculable. But staying holed up in here was probably my safest option. But staying here wouldn't solve anything. Lucius' son wouldn't help me without cold hard evidence. Neither he, nor my parents. So unless I found some sort of proof, these relentless nights would never end. I stretched my body, tilt my head back, and closed my eyes just like I did every morning. I regulated my breathing and regained my senses. Calm down, Keiichi, my boy. Let's go to school. Let's wait until they set their trap for me. What that didn't mean, I was just going to twiddle my thumbs. I need to avoid that traffic carrying variable evidence. Take a note of the plates of any car that drive by. If I see someone suspicious, check their clothes and face. I wouldn't just protect myself, I would prepare myself. With his voice. I would prepare myself to turn their attack against them and retaliate. The tension was similar to when two samurai were both aiming to slay each other with a single motion as they drew their katanas. I was not at a disadvantage. But I just imagine like two samurais facing off with their katanas like that. One of them just pulls out a gun out of nowhere. It's like I win. Just like, you don't bring a gun to a freaking sword fight, asshole. It was not at a disadvantage I would have a chance to retaliate. I finally felt a bit of courage growing in my chest. All right, let's go to school. I tightened my grip on Satoshi's bat. That sounded suggestive. He was the only partner I could count on. That also sounds suggestive combined. Satoshi, please lend me your strength and entrust your dying regrets to me, since you were probably murdered. I'll make sure I dispel them. With renewed resolve, I checked the clock. It was still early. Of course, I was going to school by myself today. I didn't want to run into Rena or Mion. I needed to leave now. The shattered fragments of the cupboard were still strewn all over the entryway. Right. Oh, I meant to clean it up last night, but never got around to it with a phone call and everything. Yeah, about that phone call, Keiichi, gonna expand on that? Just like the scene kind of trailed off. If my parents came back and saw this while I was at school, I would never hear the end of it. Still, I'd be wasting time if I cleaned up right now and considering what would happen if I ran into Rena or Mion. It wouldn't be too late to clean it up after I got back home. Making extra certain that the doors were locked, so I left the house. My uniform was still covered in mud from yesterday, so I left it in the washer. Today I was going to go to school in a tracksuit. While wearing a different outfit this morning, my mind was forced to accept that today was different from yesterday. I had a hunch. Today might be the day I get killed. Keep your guard up, Keiichi, my boy. The only one who gets to decide if today is my last is me. On. I knew it was bloody Higurashi. spent the morning practicing my swing like it was my natural routine. After a while, Rena arrived at school. Our eyes met, but we said nothing. Rena said nothing about last night. Well, of course she wouldn't. If she said nothing, how would she say anything? As if it never happened. But I could see that those vents were real by the wounds carved into her fingers. I just heard her tell Sotoko and the others that the bandages were from hurting myself in the kitchen. So it wasn't like it bothered me. The details that Higurashi-san shared about Rena's instant before her transfer played vividly in my mind. Now that I knew about it, I couldn't even dream of Rena as a cute, ideal girl. Maybe that tip was obviously, like, for Rena, the first tip that we saw with the personality thing. Keiichi, I see you're still aiming for the Nationals. It was Mion. I'd already sensed her approach, so I wasn't that surprised. Oh, Mion, if you understand then, leave me alone. I'm busy practicing. I gave her a curt reply without my usual cue. Then I gave the bat an even larger swing, tactfully keeping Mion from getting any closer. Hey, Keiichi, take it easy. I think Mion got the message, but she still urged me to give it a rest. Homerum's not that far off, is it? Just let me finish practicing. I swung the bat even harder as a sign of my refusal. Keiichi, what did you, when did you get into baseball? Just recently. Recently? You mean yesterday? Don't ask if you already know. Oh dear, that's a very sportsmanlike reply. You distracted me. Go away. I ignored Mion and kept swinging. Normally she'd get mad or bored and leave if someone gave her the cold shoulder like this. But Mion just stood there waiting patiently for me to stop swinging. I didn't sense any hostility, but we were at school in plain view. I doubt she'd suddenly attack me here. Or was that too naive? Still, I was starting to get tired. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad to take a break and hear her out. You need me for something, right? What is it? Sweat poured from me as I stopped swinging. I noticed my shoulders were heaving as I breathed. I cursed my lack of exercise. At this rate, I might not be able to move as needed when the time came. I should probably keep practicing my swinging to build stamina in addition to the excuse for carrying the bat around with me. Well, it's nothing important. If you're tired, I can ask again later. Now it's fine. I'm only dealing with you right now because I judge the situation to be safe. Talking to you alone and away from others, that's out of the question. Well, Mion was uncharacteristically trying to choose her words. But unlike Keiichi-san, it didn't look like she was going to talk about something I'd rather not hear. Mion was puzzled trying to find the right thing to say. But then she gave a hearty laugh to break herself out of that mid-air. This old man's just no good at this stuff. Having a poor vocabulary hurts. What's this all of a sudden? If you have something to say, just say it. Stop it! Stop that swinging. She cut straight to the point. Her request was so frank I didn't understand it for a moment. I'd already stopped swinging to listen to her, hadn't I? I just stopped, didn't I? That's not what I meant. I want today to be the last day you swing that bat. I'm sorry. It took me some time to understand what she was asking for. What's wrong with swinging the bat? Why? It's none of your business, is it? I'm not bothering anyone, am I? You are. Mion said it flat out. This didn't make any sense, and that was really irritating. When did I bother anybody? Mion was at a loss for words, but she finally made up her mind and spoke. So she stuttered as she said it. Because, Keiichi-chan, that's someone else's bat. You shouldn't borrow it without permission. It was left behind by a student who transferred, right? I'm just borrowing it until he comes back for it. Yeah, he transferred. Mion grew uncharacteristically flustered. That made it all too clear that his transfer was a lie. But strange, isn't it, for the older brother to transfer by himself, while his little sister stayed behind. Mion couldn't hide her reaction as my words shook her up. Kei-chan, you knew? Satoshi Hojo. Sotoko's older brother, right? The one demoned away last year. I Unable to respond to that, Mion fell silent. Rena asked the same. Why did he start swinging that bat? She told me Satoshi did the same thing, practicing his swings, right before he went missing. So, is this some kind of omen for Shirasama's curse? Shh! Mion panicked and looked around. Please, Keiichi, don't mention Shirasama so recklessly. I don't believe in him, but the others very much do. Rena especially. Dangerously so? Anyway, you're scaring everyone. If you just fool around and stop it, you have to stop acting like Satoshi. I was the one who was scared. Who do I have to thank for taking up this bat in the first place? But it still unsettled me knowing that my actions were overlapping with Satoshi's. It would be one thing if someone suggested, but I thought I was making my own decisions. Well, without mind, Keiichi, then why? Just why? I'll say this now, I don't know anything about Satoshi. After all, he didn't tell me anything about it. We didn't mean to hide it. You would hide an instance happen every year, wouldn't you? That's because we didn't want to, You didn't want to scare me. That's your reason for leaving me out? No, we didn't mean to. Mion, I asked you directly if something happened at the dam, didn't I? When you told me nothing happened. When someone was dismembered and murdered. You lied to me. This whole arc has been about lies, hasn't it? It's like, sorry, I didn't mean to lie to you. Friends don't hide things from each other, right? Isn't that right? Then you all aren't my friends. Kei-chan, Mion looked helpless and flustered, as I imagined the tears in her eyes. I never could have imagined Mion acting like this. Oh, by the way, those get well mochi you brought the other day, they were good. I thought I was going to bleed. Who did it? You or Rena? Me. She admitted it so easily. I couldn't help but be surprised at how easy that was. It could have killed me. How could you do that to a friend? It was just a little prank. Mion gave me a wry smile mixed with confusion, causing even more anger to well up inside me. You think that was a prank? I grabbed Mion by the collar and lifted her up. That wasn't the same as putting Tabasco sauce in a piece of mochi. It was a needle, a sewing needle. If I had swallowed that and it lodged in my throat, what did you think would happen? Mion's face froze as her body rattled in fear. This wasn't the Mion Sumizaki I knew anymore. Anyways, you're not my friend. There's no reason for me to listen to someone who's not my friend. Just leave me alone for a while. Got it? Mion wasn't replying anymore. It won't be that easy to erase me, you know. What? Who's speaking now? Oh, yeah. It won't be that easy to erase me, you know. The cops have been on to you from the start, so don't think you can make me disappear like you did Satoshi. I said it clearly. This was my declaration of war. I think you guys are suspects in the previous incidents too. Also, know you've spent a lot of time with the cops ever since the anti-dam movement. I think you can hide it from me. Got that? How did you know? Mion stood there with a dumbstruck look on her face. That was when I heard the principal ringing the bell of the school. It was time for morning homeroom. Let's go, the class representative needs to be there, right? At that moment, for the first time, I realized Mion was sobbing as tears ran down her cheeks. You're so mean, Kei-chan. Now, I wanted to console her, but I shut my mouth. I had no need to feel guilty. I'm going. Don't be late for homeroom. I left Mion still shaking as I turned around and head for the entrance. I had no idea how troubling it was to make a girl cry. Behind my back I could hear her muttering. It was a faint mutter as she was speaking to herself. That's how it is. Huh? She wasn't saying it to anyone. It was Mion talking to herself. but it was a sobbing voice that had a kind of giddy, cursing tone. I inadvertently stopped and turned back towards her. So was that bastard who leaked it all the Keiichi? She balled up her fists as her tears continued to rain down. Sorry, but I cannot do that kind of voice acting, especially not for a female character. She glared at a spot at the ground with a terrifying yet smiling face, cursing. A chill ran down my spine from that demonic expression. This transformation, Mion's transformation, was different from Rena's. Should have killed him back then. He forgot the mercy I showed him just because he was going to tire us here. Tiring is here. What you talking about? Oishi-san. Damn. Gonna kill that damn man. Old man. Nah. Felt like the air itself had begun distorting as my voice acting became worse. With Mion at the center of the world, it began to twist and spiral, bending, whirling. For the first time I'd experienced such a visage. Rise! Attention! Mion made up an excuse for her red eyes by saying there was something wrong with her contacts. Does she wear contacts then? After that, neither Ren nor Mion spoke to me for the rest of the day. What about? Oh, that's right there. Neither Satoko nor Rick-chan looked me in the eye. Strangely, I didn't feel hurt. Everything had just went back to the way it was. The way it was, my ass. Long since I transferred in had been almost too much fun. That was all. School was supposed to be something like this to begin with. I should have disliked that feeling, but today it felt oddly refreshing. The bell rung, stamping the end of the monotonous school day, which had felt so tense yet so dull. Since it would cause a lot of unpleasant memories if they asked me to join in to the club activities, I promptly started preparing to go home without even looking at them. I stuffed the contents of my desk into my bag, wrapped my hand around Satoshi's now familiar bats, and began heading towards the entrance. I was assailed by both the exhaustion and relief that nothing had happened today and the tiring possibility of the same thing repeating tomorrow. But deep down inside me, far beneath in the recesses of my heart, achingly, I knew this would be the last day of this cycle. I couldn't tell how the ending would be, whether it would end as I wished it to end, or if it would end as I hoped it wouldn't. Regardless, in my current state, there was something more important than how things would end. There was something I wanted to know. Why did I have to be killed? How did it come to this? Why? For what purpose? The sunlight was relentless. The sun, the heat, even the air. They wouldn't give me my answers. Or could it be that the cries of Higurashi was desperately trying to tell me something? It makes you wonder with that, isn't it? Like, the title of the series is Higurashi when they cry, essentially, isn't it? So they play kind of like, I don't know, it's just like, they're just in the background, really, aren't they? It's just like, because they're so damn noisy. But Higurashi is an evening kakata, right? I think it's an evening kakata, anyway. I remember randomly typing Higurashi into Google Translate of all things. They translate it into English as evening kakata. And with that, it's just like, then how the fuck are they going on all day long, then? It's like, I thought it's supposed to be evening kakatas, not all day ones. Blah, blah, blah. Somewhere mixed in with their shrieks, Tomitaka-san and Satoshi were also probably trying to tell me something I simply haven't been able to realize it yet. When I do realize it, I wonder if I will be amongst Higurashi purposely crying to the next victim. Glancing down at my feet, I saw Higurashi on his back, spasming weakly. Wee, 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 wee. Well, you got a sound effect already going, really, haven't you? There was still much of the summer left, yet this one was already chirping its last song. I couldn't tell what it was saying, no matter how hard I listened. Well, no shit. But I had to try. I had to try to listen to what it was desperately trying to tell me. You fucked Keiichi! At that moment the shrills of the Higurashi ceased all at once.